Charles Dickens once wrote some magical words. It is the best of times, the worst of times, but possibly it was written for our times. When we look around, we live in a world of complete contradictions. As the glaciers and the icebergs melt, we have more water, but less water to drink. We have more development, less equality. We have more colleges, less education. We have more opportunities, less careers. We have more success, less happiness. And when I think about this, as an HR practitioner now for many years, meeting different genre of talent, young, old, in different industries, one of the things which has always perplexed me is this entire confusion about what's a successful career. People talk about success in careers. I have rarely found people ask about happiness in careers. And you may have had the most successful career, but if you were not happy, was it worth it? And given the context of the world today, which is VUCA, so volatile, so uncertain, traditional career planning is dead. And therefore, my thesis is individuals today who are wanting to build careers must design their careers. And what's a career? It's not just a set of titles or your bank balance or your corporate affiliations. It's a lot about you. Careers today are more internal than external. Careers are about a mosaic of experiences. It is about a set of experiences you go through which help you be relevant today and also be relevant tomorrow, to impact today and to impact tomorrow. And therefore, careers are really about building yourself up through a set and series of experiences which tackle more of complexity and more of uncertainty. This, I think, is very important for everyone to understand. Otherwise, we will always remain a prisoner of our past education or our past experience, none of which is going to be relevant in the world of tomorrow. Now, if you want to design your career, there are two concepts that I personally feel are very useful. One is what I call the life space, the other is what I call the workspace. Life space is all about your deeply embedded life interests, your passions, your interests, your hobbies. Where do you come alive? Where do you draw your mojo from? And workspace is your operating context of where you actually deliver most of your time. Now, it's very interesting that the two spaces come together in very different ways for different people. The ideal is a perfect Venn diagram, but we know life. There is no perfect solution. There is no perfect answer. Sometimes, for example, workaholics, life happens to be a little dot in the life space. You seek and get your energy from your work. You just need to be alive. Whereas for others, you need to earn your bread and butter, and therefore it's a small dot, but you draw your energy, your identity, your nourishment from life, from things beyond work. Or it could be a combination thereof. The reason I cite this is because life and careers often are trade-off decisions, if not alignment decisions. And the sooner we are comfortable with this reality, we can design our career choices more accurately, both for success and for happiness. So let's move forward and understand how do you therefore build a career. It's like getting into a career gym. You need to tone all your career muscles. And you know, one of the first things about building yourself up is to get your fundamentals right. I remember a time many years back as a teenager when I was learning horse riding. I had a veteran police horseman as my instructor, And unlike my brothers, he got me the worst possible mount. She was a beautiful chestnut mare, but she had a mind of her own. She would bolt away when she was expected to walk. She would stand on her hind legs when there was no provocation. She would jump hedges when there was no instruction. Imagine in those circumstances, I asked my instructor, why is the world so unfair with me? Why can't I also have an easier horse to ride on? And I remember his words so clearly. If you get your fundamentals right and grip the horse right with your knees, irrespective of the prop called the stirrup, which actually adds no value beyond comfort, you will always be able to ride any horse, anywhere, anytime. Today, I remember those words because that's exactly true for careers. If we can get our fundamentals right, it doesn't matter where you are, in which situation, no horse or no situation can get you off its back. It's equally important for us to remember that when you're in this stage of building muscles, we must stop, pause, reflect. Which are the muscles we've not really used? Which are the ones being over-exercised? Is there balance? And we normally never stop and introspect. But this is part of gymming. This is part of getting ready. And sometimes it is good to exercise things that you've never really used. Get out of your comfort zone. Do things which you've never done before. And if I go back to my little riding story, every part of the body ached when I was learning how to ride, at least for the initial days. Same happens with careers. When you're learning a new skill, when you're getting out of your comfort zone, doing something which you've never done before, it pains. You want to regress. But that is where careers need tenacity. They need resilience. They need perseverance. And you get that right, careers are bound to happen. I also want to talk about this entire thing about careers. Careers are not a solo sport. You might be the best at your trade, but it doesn't guarantee that you will have a career which will last you a lifetime. Careers is about taking help from friends, from teachers, instructors, managers, bosses, peers, team members, friends, family. People who supplement you in areas that you are not naturally strong in. And also, you helping others become more. When you help people become more, your career is more insured. And in today's world, your reputation precedes a resume. And if you are in that situation where a positive reputation has preceded a resume, there will be more takers for you than you would otherwise typically be placed for. So I think it's very important to widen and deepen your network even as you build your career, because taking help and giving help is a sign of great careerists. And this is a very important career design principle. Very briefly, I want to also talk about accidents that happen in careers. Some are happy accidents, moments of serendipity. Fortuitous events, you got to meet the right people, you happen to be the right person in the right role. These things do happen. There, the prescription is easy. Grab the opportunity with both hands. You're a lucky person. If you don't seize the moment, you have only yourself to blame. But at the same time, in the VUCA world in which we stay, I've seen far too many career derailments for me to ignore the fact that accidents happen. And they happen when you are cruising along. They happen suddenly. Because we have not realized or asked ourselves, are some of the skill sets getting a little jagged? Is some behavior getting toxic? Is something else which has worked so well possibly drying up? And if we don't take such preventive actions, accidents do happen. And the accidents happen along the curb, along the bend. So I think it's very important for us to periodically make sure that we look at our little pieces of our career architecture to make sure they are relevant. And remember, one of the biggest reasons why accidents happen is when people become cynical. They become eternal cribbers. No one hires a cribber. No one wants to keep a cribber. If you're a manager, no one wants to work with a not so sunny manager. And these sound very simple, but careers are not always as logical. They are not always as obvious as we think, because most derailments happen for these reasons. So it's very important for us to remember that, like a good safety principle, an accident prevented is better than an accident treated. So career derailments happen. You can definitely recover. Maybe you'll be laid up for some time. You'll need to rewire yourself. But if you can prevent an accident by reinventing yourself appropriately at different points in time, that's a smarter you. As I come towards the close, let me remind ourselves, not all of us are equally blessed to have the same boxes of paint with which we can paint our careers. Some have more variety. Some may have only a black and white box. But remember, the best sketches sometimes are black and white sketches, provided we know how to use the colors right. Similarly, when you have a range of colors, what combination of colors really helps you paint your picture? Because our careers finally are owned by us. We have no alibis. Wish as we would to blame everyone from our parents to teachers to organizations and managers, the reality is career painting is our intellectual property. And therefore my appeal to everyone who's wanting to build careers and relevant careers is use your paint well. Do it innovatively. Do it creatively. Do it in the manner that represents you. Because ultimately it's about you. It must represent the soul of you. It must be something that actually builds you up. One of the reasons of trying to be a different painter and trying to clone your career on the lines of someone else is dangerous. It is dangerous for the simple reason that these efforts somewhere average you. Whereas if you focus on creating something which is you, leveraging the opportunities that is you, the unique signature strengths that you have, being conscious of what you are not, you will paint a picture which will multiply you, which will maximize you. And when you maximize yourself, and you are in sync with your true self, with your true north, with your true purpose, I think that's the time, irrespective of what series of roles and assignments you did, the experiences you repudiated, the newer ones that you acquired, you would have finally painted a picture that would be you. And this, to me, is fulfillment of a good career design, where you've designed your career not only to be authentic, and in the process, be successful, and most important, be a happy one. So thank you very much, and wish everyone a great career in their lives.